Championship.
Good evening and welcome back to the Fallout Bar after day 5 of the 2026 Paddy Power PDC World Darts Championship, joined as ever by Mr. Carwyn Evans down below. But first of all, new face alongside us, Dave Connolly. How are we?
Good. How you guys doing? Thanks for letting a North American hop on. Maybe add a little bit of a different perspective. No, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
You've got the advantage here that it's not almost tomorrow where you are. You've got 5 hours on us, so not quite as late for you as it is for us. Carwyn, you've literally just got straight in from darts yourself. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Luckily, the evening's action was on in the pub, so managed to watch that big Clayton win, which we'll get on to. But I'm good, thanks. Cam, how are you?
Yeah, not bad at all, mate. Not bad at all. It's taken you all of 4 seconds to get the Johnny Clayton win in there. Well done. You've got the spoiler in early. I'd like to see it. Not much to talk about tonight, is there? There's not much going on today.
Lame day.
Just a quiet day at Ali Pally.
As ever, yeah. Right, let's get straight into it because it's late enough and everyone's been waiting a while. There's loads of people in the chat room as ever. It's too many to even go through you, but hello to everyone in there. And we'll start off with probably the most sedate bit of the day as there was, and kind of what we all expected yesterday, that Brendan Dolan doing a professional Brendan Dolan job, getting past Tavis Dudeney 3-1. Carwyn.
Yeah, it's sort of, because of everything that's happened, that game feels like it's been days ago, not what?
Yeah, it was
12, 11 hours.
January, that wasn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, as in pretty much what I expected. How the game would pan out, as in Dolan he's sort of good at being professional, at just doing what needs to be done to win these early round matches. It wasn't great. It wasn't, as in, he needs to play better. But experience sort of towards the end of the game, really, and it sort of got him over the line, and he'll just be relieved to still be in, because none of the sort of bigger names, let's say, want to go out in the first round.
Yeah, it was one of those, Dave, wasn't it, that the scoring power with the 180s from Tavis was really impressive, but the consistency of Brendan Dolan, just 17 140s in there, and just the better doubling percentage from him as well was what told the difference, really. Yeah,
and without being able to speak to either player directly, you could maybe deduct from that it's adrenaline or experience. I mean, you go 9-2 on 180s in Dudeney's favor, but 17 140s to 5 shows that Dolan was more consistent, probably had a little bit more control of his emotions, and didn't have, I mean, we've all been there. If you're playing under a little bit of pressure, your arm on that follow through can go anywhere, and you see a lot of wayward darts from these newer players, these debutants. So it just kind of like what Carwyn said, like a professional job, and Dolan's been on that stage so many times, he didn't really blink.
No, exactly that. It very much felt like experience telling, didn't it? And someone that's been there before and sort of knew what to expect and what to do. And I think there's not a lot more to say on this one. So we'll quickly hear from Brendan now, and we'll get on to, let's be honest, what's probably going to be the biggest story of the day.
Yeah, you can't be positive the way I've played all year. I suppose some people could make it positive, but I'm a realist. And I've got beat in a final this year, I've got beat in a couple of semi-finals, a few quarter-finals. Some people think that's great. For me, I didn't play well. And that, for me, is like I'm too long in the game to try and fool myself, and for me, I need better. You know, there's no question. And the way the game is going, like the way the two Lukes, Gerwyn Price is dragging the game so far ahead, like I don't accept losing to them. You know, I don't accept it. I need to be better. I played with the greatest player in the world, like, and that was Phil Taylor. The next greatest come along is Michael van Gerwen. I've actually played with the greatest player before that, which is Eric Bristow. Like, I've been around a long time, and I've seen the greats, you know, and for me, I need to be better. It's not accepted. I can't accept it. I need to be better.
I mean, I wasn't quite expecting that from him, to be honest. I was expecting a little bit more positive after getting a comfortable win in round 1 of the Worlds. But
talk about name dropping, bloody hell!
Oh yeah, go on as the bloke.
But yeah, it was. I sort of get his point, but at the same time, I don't think during a World Championship campaign is the best time to reflect on maybe what's been a poor year, as in. Lose in the Worlds, then you can be like, oh, 2025.
Yeah, certainly not after you've won. Well, it's I think we'll worry about
weird
that.
Timing, but maybe sort of G himself up or something, and that's his way of doing it, is by calling himself crap. I don't know.
Yeah, it's whatever works, I think, isn't it? Right, on to game 2. I don't really know where to start on game 2.
I'm just glad you went to me first. I'm glad you went to me first to Brendan Dolan.
It was a cracking game. It was a really good watch. It was sort of back and forth. There was some real moments of quality in it as well. And there was a bit of faffing around and a bit of not so much quality as well. And then we obviously had the moment at the end. And I'm not going to sit here and batter Cammy for it. Like, it's an emotional reaction. We know he's an emotional player. We know that is sort of how he always is. And he's clearly got a lot going on right now, because it's not a normal reaction. Most people in this instance would, I mean, we've all felt after a game that we want to smash things up, but you generally wait until you're not on stage in front of everyone before you do it. And for him to react like that on stage, I think it clearly shows where his head's at, and I'm not going to batter anyone for being in a bad headspace and not feeling like they can control their emotions or feel like they can do what they need to do in that situation to handle it better. So I'm not going to sort of batter him for it. It wasn't a good look, as we know, but it is what it is, and we move on. And I think it's a little bit of a sad moment that he's taken some of the light away from the fact that Charlie Mann rocked up on his first appearance at the Worlds at 20 years old and played a fantastic game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little frustrated almost for him, because I think there's a lot of talent with Cameron. Like, he's a really quality player. You see it in the floor events when maybe he's not under a little bit less pressure, because there aren't, thousands of people behind him chanting or whistling when he's throwing. But, he's a quality player. And I thought we saw a little bit of that at the Grand Prix. He got to that quarterfinal run. I thought, all right, maybe he's gotten a lot of these frustrations figured out. And then this happens, and this feels like this is worse than, because in the past with Leonard Gates last year at the championship, when, he kind of had a complete meltdown at the end, you feel bad for him. And then the bust at the match play, the 180, like he falls to the ground. Like, these are kind of like just moments where you feel for him. And yeah, you feel for him here, but this is the first time we've seen it as like an outlash of, frustration. And, he was playing really well. I thought Charlie met him at every big moment, which was just probably not something he expected or anyone else did. But it was such a good match, and that kind of it was a shame that kind of took away from that and from Charlie's debut win at the Worlds.
Yeah, it's I mean, like you say, I think you're absolutely spot on there with the fact that the way that Charlie met him, like set 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Menzies won set 3, but set 4, he continued to play at that high level, and Charlie stepped it up and went and won that set 3 too. And then sort of final set was a little bit of a dip from both, but it was, the bottle for someone that's never been up there, Carwin, was remarkably impressive.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of been coming from Mambi as well. We saw him at the Modus Super Series where I think he broke a record where he's the first player to make it through to finals night without losing a game. So he's certainly got the temperament, the composure, the know-how to win games, and it really in that last set, it sort of he showed, I guess, better temperament and better control of the emotions. And he didn't play the last set as if he was a debutant up there. He played it to win the game, and I think that says a lot about him. And he certainly won. I think we'll see plenty more of in the future, and it's just a shame how things ended, really. But I guess the flip side of that is with what we saw from Cameron on stage, as in the PDC have stepped in and said player welfare and all this, and there's help available. So hopefully Cameron goes down the right path for himself as well, because I agree with you, Dave. I think he's a quality player. He's got potential. We've seen in patches what he can do on the dartboard. He just needs to go away, step away for a bit, and come back when he's ready to come back in a better place.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think some of that may be taken out of his hands, depending on what sort of sanctions he gets for it. But it might just be taken out of his hands in the fact that he's taken his hand out with what he's done as well, which could be a longer period of time out than sort of anything else that it might be as well. Someone asked sort of like, is it worse than the Colin Lloyd punching the board? But I think it was a lot worse in terms of just the pure sort of aggression, but it's also the bit you sort of see before it, and with him putting his hand in the cold spot, which isn't particularly going to do anything because they are cold. They are there for not to be hot, and it's not going to burn you. But it's still just, it shows that he clearly was just, his head was all over the place at that point, and he was clearly mentally struggling. So like you say, the biggest thing is that there is help out there, player welfare, and that side of the game is more prevalent than ever, and there is more help there than there ever has been. And hopefully that whatever way he decides to take that on he's gets the right outcome for him and gets him in a place where he can just come perform and be able to do his job at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's just so frustrating to watch because he's so gifted. Like if you watch any of the floor events, it's there. He's not. This isn't the peak of his ability. It's really. It feels like it's between the ears.
Yeah, 100%. I've just spotted in the chat, Mr. Rob Owen in the chat as well. Come along for a bit of Rob Owen tour card watch, as we have been doing all week this week. Lovely to see you in as ever. And yeah, we'll sort of move on from Cammy now and give Charlie his little moment here, because he spoke to Phil afterwards, so I'll have a listen to what he had to say.
I couldn't tell you really. I think if it's a key moment in a game, then yeah, I think adrenaline just takes over and you'll just you'll do what you do. Simple as that, really. And
towards the end of that game, did you sense that Cammy was perhaps just losing his composure a little bit, and there was a real sense of opportunity there for you in that final set? Yeah, definitely. I think I back myself against anyone, so yeah, whether it's loss of composure or anything like that with a crowd or anything, I just thought I did my bit and did it quite well. And then at the end, when he's obviously lost his head, is that not, I'm guessing, a moment that you expect on your World Championship debut to see on that stage? What was your thoughts? I was doing my own thing. I couldn't tell you really. So yeah, simple as that really.
Yeah, I think he was too busy celebrating for the most part, to be honest, and absolutely as he should be. And a big opportunity for him now. He got either Matt Campbell or Adam Saveda up next. It's a huge chance for him, and it's just got that thing that all these young kids now that come through, they're just not faced by anything, are they, Dave?
No, I was just going to say that he has that like calm demeanor, whether he's throwing or in that presser, that you see. I don't want to make the comparison, but you see with Luke Littler, like it doesn't feel like there's a moment too big for them. I can't keep like the highlight from that match that I can't keep going back to. Yes, he had the dart at 1-1. It was his last dart in hand. That Shanghai in the fourth leg, I believe it was the fourth leg of that last set, or third. I think it was the third leg. That was ridiculous. I just didn't. You're kind of watching. I just didn't think he was going to hit it. Like I just didn't. There's darts in your way. You know, you're going at tops. It was, and I believe Cammy was on a pretty makeable finish. It's just like the guts it takes to be able to do something like that on your debut is just ridiculous. And with how, you know, I've been keeping track of it. I know we'll talk about it later with how the North Americans have been pretty bad. I think he might be a favorite in that second round match. It doesn't really matter. I mean, Matt Campbell will probably give him a better run because he's got a tour card, but I don't know. Like he could make a deep run here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a real opportunity now. He's in a nice little section of the draw. Like, yes, potentially world number 7 James Wade or Ricky Evans if he gets through that next one. But if he's through 2 wins on this stage already, he's not going to be worried about playing anyone. He just doesn't seem the sort of character that will anyway. So yeah, massive little opportunity for him now to go and get in. But it does speak to how much getting competitive matches on the stage at the Super Series and other places, how much of a difference it makes to these players coming through now, doesn't it, Carwin?
Oh, it's huge. And what I liked with his the clip of the interview we saw there was he didn't get dragged in on anything that happened at the end. He just answered about himself. As in, it'd have been quite easy as a 20-year-old debutant up there to sort of get involved in trying to dissect what happened, but he just sort of said, "I didn't see it. I was just doing my own thing," and I think that's very mature of him. As in, even if he did see it all, as in, you've just got to take yourself out of the situation and remember that moment for what you've done. As in, definitely, whoever he faces in the next round, they won't fancy it, and if he does get through that, then sort of yes. James Wade / Ricky Evans will have much more experience than him on that big stage. But we all remember what Luke Littler did on his debut at Ali Palace. So not trying to compare them, but I think
well, he's got a few years more life experience than Littler did at that point.
Yeah. But
I mean, he's 20, so he's still very, very young. But even
but I think he can just enjoy it. It's probably the biggest payday he's had. So whatever happens from year on in, just go with it, enjoy it, and see what happens. Embrace the Ali Palace stage.
Yeah, definitely. On to game number 3 for the day then, and David Cameron up against Mensur Suljovic. We'll throw to you as the North American correspondent now, Dave. Yeah. Did you see this one going any other way than it did, really?
I thought, I honestly, I don't know if I expected Mensur to play like that. He showed a lot, and every time there was a chance for David Cameron to kind of get back into it, Mensur just slammed the door shut. And I think that's now 0-3 for the North Americans. Is that how many have played? I think I have that right.
Yeah, I think so.
Between Spellman and Bunce and Cameron. Yeah. And have they won like one set, maybe 2? I'm forgetting one. I know Cameron took one. So
Bunce won 1 or 2. I've forgotten.
Yeah,
I was on yesterday, and I've forgotten.
I know. So much has happened.
Won 1 as well.
1-1. Okay, that's what I thought.
Opportunity to get it back to 2-2, but.
Yeah, which has been tough. There's a lot of talented guys, and I don't know, maybe part of it's the travel. It's hard to say.
It certainly doesn't help, does it? Like
no, and you can make that excuse for guys, all these qualifiers coming from all over the place, and they're doing great, so it isn't much of an excuse. But no, Mensur, he played, and he shut the door every chance David got a chance to get back into the match, and that just goes to his experience, and he's one of those guys who's going to make it ugly and drag you down into it, and you're going to come out like beaten and bruised. He's just that kind of player. He always has been.
Yeah, definitely. And I was actually quite impressed by the level that we saw from him, though. I'm not sure I expected to see him at mid-90s average, to be honest, from what we've seen from him recently, Carly.
Yeah.
No, it was sort of as in. I think I may have predicted 3-1 last night. It was either 3-1 or 3-0. Suljovic, I can't remember now, but I didn't expect the game to have both players averaging over 90. I thought they'd have both been in the high 80s and Suljovic pinching the deciding leg in the set. And ultimately, I think Cameron's problem was he wasn't clinical enough on the outer ring, as in only hitting 25%. You're not going to win many matches on Ali Pali stage with that sort of percentage. And again, it was just sort of similar to Brendan Dolan, I guess. So obviously, Cameron's got more experience on the big stage than Tavis does, but Suljovic just did what he needed to do.
You were going to say you praised that again straight away. He did the right things at the right time.
Well, it is my go-to phrase. If in doubt, do the right thing at the right time, and you won't be far from winning a match. But no, I think his performance Suljovic needed, and Cullen would probably be thinking, "Oh, why can't Suljovic be averaging mid-80s for me in the next round?" So it's where Cullen would have probably fancied the second round. Suljovic has given him a bit of a headache today.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was one of those. I think the second set he sort of dipped to about 89 average, something like that, and Cameron nicked it. I thought he was in trouble at that point a little bit, Mensur, and I thought at 1-1 there was going to be potential for an upset, but he sort of regained it from there, and like you say, took advantage of the misses when they came as well. We haven't got a clip from Mensur, so we will get straight into the final game of the afternoon session, and Peter Wright against Noel and Van Duijvenbode. There's not a huge amount to say in this one. Peter Wright just did enough, and again, better on the doubles, and that was enough to get him through, Colin.
Yeah, as in Peter Wright playing like he does. This was pretty much the ideal first round. Nolan obviously only taking 3 out of 16 on the outer ring, as in gave Wright the chances he needed. Don't get me wrong, I thought he finished quite well, over 50%, as in anything over 50% is very good, but with a lowly 83 average, you're not going to get very far in darts tournaments these days. And is this the norm for Peter Wright? I don't know if 83 is the norm, but it's a long way off what we've seen from him and what he needs to produce if he's going to make any sort of serious inroads in this tournament, unfortunately.
Yeah, we sort of were looking at this before we went live, weren't we, Dave? And Peter Wright now, like I say, I don't know if this is the norm, this level, but it's we're seeing it a lot more often, and we're sort of just questioning. Up next, Arno Merck looked cool as anything on that stage the other night. Is Peter Wright in danger in this next round?
Oh, if Arno Merck is at like 2-1, it's going to be hard to get me to not want to get behind that. I don't know. This is probably like the least convincing performance from a winner so far that we've seen. I know it's easy to say that because I would imagine that's the lowest winning average we've seen so far.
It's got to be right up there, I'd say.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just hard to back Peter Wright in any sort of big time match right now. I know he has it in him. We were saying the same thing before he knocked out Luke Humphries last year. So obviously the experience and the ability, you can't rule him out. That's not what I'm trying to say, but in terms of just, backing him to be a favorite, he'll probably be a favorite against Arno Merck, you would think. But yeah, just I guess I would say I wasn't very swayed by this performance. Just seemed like he had just enough at the end of these sets to nick them and comfortably get through. But yeah.
Yeah, I was just literally you've called it pretty much exactly spot on. To be fair, just having a quick look with the sponsors, Paddy Power, 2-1 on them right now.
Oh wow! All right, Paddy Power. If you're hiring, I can be on a flight over in a few hours if you're hiring Paddy Power.
That's it. Yeah, straight into the trading team, who got one horribly wrong earlier. I think with they were offering 16-1 on the Wasps to be seen on at least 3 more days in the tournament, which I tried to get on and it went suspended and disappeared before I got a chance. So fuming at that one because that's just free money. Like 16-1 was an absolute ridiculous price to put up for that. So yeah, we have got a clip from Peter Wright. So let's see what he thought of his performance.
To be honest, I'm not fussed about the World Cup. I told Gary last year I don't want to play World Cup anymore because the past 2 years I don't think the way I've played in the World Cup I deserve to be in it. Cameron Menzies was the better player in them 2 years, and maybe I should have stepped aside, but it was just like the loyalty, wanting to win another one with a great Gary Hansen. It's just like but I got a little bit of fight still in me, so I want to win one more title with Gary, so I'll fight for that position.
Hang on. Has he just said, I'm not bothered about the World Cup, I've told Gary I don't want to play in it, and then said, I'm going to fight for that position because I want to win another one with Gary?
Yeah, it's hard to take him seriously in that outfit as well, really, isn't it?
Honestly, I mean, we know the hair's always ridiculous, but without the sides cut and with it as it is there, it's even worse than ever.
Yeah. So I presume he's happy with how he played because, we talked so much about it in that clip.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I was hoping to hear something on the game and we didn't get any of that.
Yeah, but instead, let's talk about a tournament 7 months away.
Yeah, that's it. Well, as ever, I'm sure there will be some talk about the game in there at some point, and the clips will be available in full on the YouTube for you to watch once you're done listening to us. So by all means, come back to that later. But yeah, that's not really helped us out there.
If you're Gary, would you rather have Peter Wright or Cameron Menzies as your World Cup partner right now? I think that's a pretty good question. I don't know.
Play by myself.
Yeah. I mean, Alan Suter.
You can't do that on it.
Up in the,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure. I think Gary might be the one chucking the card in at that point and saying, I don't fancy it. Let them two play together. Right, on to the evening session. And I'm calling it now. I'm going early. This is the best session of darts we have had so far in the tournament. I really enjoyed this evening. And we started off with Martin Lukeman up against Max Hopp. And this was a game that it kind of had a bit of everything, really. There was some scoring from Max Hopp that was incredible. There was signs from Martin Lukeman that he was finding his game again, but there was also frailties from both. And Max Hopp was just the one that was able to hold on and get himself over the line, Carwin.
Yeah, that was it, really. And unfortunately for Lukeman, to paraphrase my go-to phrase, is that he did the wrong thing at the wrong time, and he wasn't in the game enough to warrant a victory. And whilst Hopp wasn't outstanding after the first set in terms of averages wise, he always looked the more likely to win. And I'd imagine from a Martin Lukeman point of view, he can't wait for this year to end and start again 2026 and hopefully hit the ground running, because we all know he's a better player than he's been able to produce, and he's been dealing with things off the hockey. But for Max Hopp, wasn't a a Max Hopp-esque performance, but it's a win on the Ali Pali stage. His name is still in the tournament, and he'll need to improve. He'll hope to improve, but yeah, it's a first round win, and effectively that's what you need. That's all you need in the first round. You need to get that win, and you still have another chance to do.
Yeah, definitely. The sort of the end of this game was a bit odd, wasn't it, Dave? That set 3, it looked like Lukeman had found something. He found a bit of a rhythm. The scoring had improved. There's a couple of 140s in there, plenty of tons. And then the final set, it all just disappeared again, and he went down to averaging 75 again, out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, and Max was strictly business, not quite shot out of a cannon, but was pretty dominant in that first set. And I remember watching, I'm like, this could get ugly quick. This could be like a 25, 30-minute match. If this continues for the next 2 sets, this is going to be over super fast. And then in the second set, Lukeman had, can't remember how many, I believe he had a handful of set darts, missed all of them, and Max came in and stole it, I think, on double 10. And then, third set, Martin was able to take it, and you thought maybe it was game on. And so I feel bad for Martin, because you can see him up there fighting and struggling, and he's having a lot of wayward darts, and then suddenly he'll bang in a 180, and it's too inconsistent, it's too up and down, and then that's how you get stuck with mid 80s average. It's at least a step up from the horror show he had at the Grand Slam. I think he had one of the lowest match averages ever there against Chris Dobie. It was a 72 or something. So it's good to see that he's fighting, he's trying. I mean, to win the set, he probably, with how he's been playing, probably felt half decent about that. It's never good to go out first round, but I think he just needs to hit the reset button and maybe put him down for a few weeks and go into 2026, fresh start and see what he can do from there, because this is he's a major finalist. He knows how to win.
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? And it can be a bit of a blessing when the game's not where it should be, that this tournament is that long now that if you do go out first round, you can just reset and put the darts away. You've not got to rock up at anything else next week. There's not a Pro Tour tomorrow. There's not anything else that you've got to do. And you can almost just forget about it. And sometimes a break's a lot more beneficial than actually getting on the board for 2, 3, 4 hours every day and trying to find something.
Yeah, 100%.
We have not got a clip from Max Hopp, so we will go straight into the second game of the evening session. And Dirk van Duijvenbode against Andy Baetens. This was mint. I really, really enjoyed this game, Dave. You can talk about the standard, the quality, the finishes that were in there at times, but I just really enjoyed it as a darts match.
Yeah, and there were so many legs where you're kind of looking at the score and you kind of are like, all right, I'm going to probably count this guy out. And then Andy would come out of nowhere and hit a clutch finish, a lot of times last start in hand, and he would just steal a leg, and you're like, he's hanging around in this, because I don't think I didn't give him much of a chance. I thought Dirk would kind of stroll through this, and then Dirk's scoring power just completely took over. He started banging in 180s late, and it kind of became the difference. And that's his game. That's how he wins. He's going to need to bang in these 180s and get, for his occasional faffing on doubles, he needs to get that scoring cushion in order to, see it out. And that was kind of what saved him at the end, is he was getting dialed on the triple 20, not a lot of wayward darts. And it ended up proving to be the difference. I mean, a 98.5 average is pretty good. I think Andy played pretty dang well compared to what most people maybe would have expected, and just wasn't quite enough. But yeah, one of the better matches of the tournament so far.
Yeah, definitely that. It was sort of in the balance right up until the end. And yeah, we talk about that average from him. I think the impressive thing was he never dipped below 90 in any set, which the consistency was good from him.
Yeah.
And then that final set got in 111.62, a 170 in there, 3-1 win, 3 180s in that set as well. It was just the gears that he has at times are just remarkably impressive, aren't they?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's what you expect from these top players, is that when the pressure is on and they need to produce something, they've got that in their locker just to turn it on and just to make sure it doesn't get messy. Because especially in a one set shootout, what you don't want is to be 2-2, 3-3 and sort of chasing. So just to kill any hope that Andy had of making it difficult, he just he made sure that he was the one going to win the game. And I think it's a performance we've sort of seen from Dirk and we expect from Dirk, but maybe not one we've seen in recent times. So for him to do it on the biggest stage of them all, I think shows that he's in a very good place coming into the Worlds, and it is the best time to be in a good place because it's where the big bucks are made. So yeah, he'll be delighted with that, and obviously from a Fallout Bar Rob Owen tour card watch, it's another one.
Another tick in the box.
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
It's the one below Rob Owen that's been ticked off now, which you beat me to that, but I didn't ever thought it was going to come to me without you mentioning it, to be honest.
I couldn't help myself, sorry.
No, absolutely. It's what you're here for. You are the Wales correspondent. It's your area of expertise. So we'll leave that with you whenever you want it. It really, I thought, impressive from him. And like you say, we haven't seen it as much from him recently, but good place to be in. And the other thing, we said this for a few players now, already come through a battle, already been tested. And you need that early in this sort of tournament if you're going to go on and do things and know that you've got it in the locker when you need it.
Yeah, that quarter is wide open, especially the way Bunting played. That was yesterday. Holy cow, I can't remember. That quarter feels super winnable by anyone. That was the one I looked at, and I think everyone looked at when the draw came out. Obviously, we knew who would be headlining each quarter, but that he is by far the least menacing, headliner of a quarter. And there's just not a lot of other, intriguing names. Like, I mean, Johnny Clayton looked good today. Dave Chisnell's in here. Ross Smith already lost. Ryan Searle, like, there's always questions on how deep he can make runs. It feels really open. And Dirk's one of those guys. He's kind of learned that controlled aggression, kind of like what you see from Nathan Aspinall. If I had to make they're like throwing with this like intense look on their face, like they want to throw it through the back of the dartboard. And you like it. Like it feels controlled. It feels like it's towards the right things. It's never towards an opponent or frustrate. It never turns into frustration too often. And that's scary. If they get into a groove, like, man, I don't want to be playing them. They're like unplayable at times.
Yeah, the only real bit of frustration from him was when he missed the sixth dart into the nine, and he was fuming at himself. But I want to see more people being fuming at themselves for missing a dart into the nine rather than turning around and apologising to the crowd for it. So we have got a clip from him. So let's hear from Dirk, and then it is Corwin's second moment to shine. He's already got the Rob Owen bit in, and then it is Johnny Clayton up next.
No, not really. Practicing-wise, maybe, yeah, but I think the biggest thing is the confidence. And the confidence is not even close to where it was.
How do you?
But my game is better. If I'm being honest, I think my game is like probably 10% better than it was peak. But my confidence is like 20% less than it was. If I sort that out, I'm way better than I was then.
That's a scary prospect for everyone else if you think your game is in a better place now than when it was, because you were doing damage then. So what damage can you do going forward?
Looking at game, mate.
Simple as that?
Yeah, but the last 2 years I lost first round. And this year I'm just happy that I won my first round, because, I mean, he was at least top 8 toughest draw you can draw. And just happy that I beat him. And I didn't even look at the second round because I was really fearing of losing again first round. So my practice was like unbelievably hard to myself, because like, oh, there's no holding down here in the first round, so I have to be very good.
It's one of them players, is that I don't expect him to be telling us that he's lacking in confidence. But it's interesting to hear that he thinks he's actually the game's there and the game's as good as it's ever been, but he just needs to almost find the belief as much as anything.
But he's almost portraying himself as a beaten man. The way you sort of speaking then, you could almost feel the confidence seeping out of him, and that it was a slog, and that he was delighted just to win that game. And I think honesty from these players is great, and it just gives you an insight where to how they think they're playing, even if we think what was it, 90 plus average, 111 last set. Yeah. He's walked off and he's gone, not feeling confident at the moment. So if they all 100% confident, then God help us, that's going to see the averages.
Like I say, it is.
I think the biggest thing we've learned from him, at least that I've learned from him, maybe in recent months, is he's been on a bit of a hot streak. I remember at the end of the German Darts Championship, in October, he lost that Nathan, and they interviewed him. And most guys can kind of go big picture at that moment and say, oh man, like got to the final, other guy played great, is what it is. He was like upset. Like he didn't want to do the interview. He was like really pissed. And I just think he is one of those guys who holds himself to a crazy standard. And I think it's just kind of showing there where, if he doesn't average, ton plus and completely blow the guy out of the water with a 9-darter and a big fish, like he's just not going to be happy.
Like I say, it's great to see though, and it's good to see that side of people and get. And there's quite a few out there that are really good and open and honest that we enjoy listening to. That like not giving you a footballer's interview where everything's just like not actually saying anything while standing there and answering questions. And it is good to get that insight and just see the mindset of some of these top guys and the reason that they are where they are is because of, like you say, the standard that they hold themselves to as well. And that leads us nicely into one of the top guys, world number 5 right now, Johnny Clayton. I think this was a really tough draw, first up. Like, there weren't a lot worse than this that you could really have asked for in the first round. And coming through this 3-1 against Adam Lipscomb, I thought was a very good performance from him, Carwin.
Yeah, I feel like I can say this now because he's obviously won the game, but I was very, very worried for Johnny Clayton with this draw, especially with what we saw from Johnny at the Grand Slam and the Players' Championship. I feared it could have been a first round exit, as in I actually think Adam underperformed massively to what I expected him to. And again, the doubles have let him down. But delighted for Johnny because I think he needs a good run. As in, I'm not going to put his name in the Premier League bracket at the moment because I think Grand Slam and Players Championship go against him. But just for him, I think he needs a big run at the Worlds, and then he can sort of see what comes in 2026. But this win was probably a bit easier than I expected it to be when I saw the draw.
Yeah, probably with you on that one. Like, he probably got a little bit lucky in set 3, where he could have been in a bit more bother in that one. But good performance from him all round. Like you say, it's a tough draw, but you're not putting him in the Premier League conversation. I very much did at the Live Lounge Live because I think he goes far enough in this tournament that he jumps into the world number 4 spot and gets above Stephen Bunting. So I had him taking that spot in the Premier League, which I'm sure you would have been very happy to hear. The reason I thought this was really impressive from him, as much as it's only a low 90s average, is that he did it with a minimum of fuss, Dave, but also did it whilst knowing that there's levels way above this for Johnny still to come as well, and that he'll sort of improve as it goes along, I think.
Yeah. I don't want to say I'm too worried. He did get lucky. Adam was 6 for 26 on doubles. That's not going to happen. I don't have the draw in front of me. I don't know exactly who he plays next round. That's not going to happen again. So if he is banking on that,
he's got Dom Taylor up next, which
could be tough.
Who played well the other day as well.
Yeah, Dom's, I think his average was in the 80s. It didn't feel like it watching it. It was one of those where I don't think Oscar met him and it just pulled his average down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking here. What I'm interested in is like Carwin was saying, Johnny is 5th in the world ranking, would have to get top 4 for Premier League. And that's something I think he feels he wants to be and he deserves to be in, maybe more than the normal player, something he's brought up a lot. And he would have to get to, I mean, if Steven, you would assume he wins his round 2 match, he'd have to get to the quarterfinal in order to leapfrog him if Steven lost in the 3rd round. So I'm thinking of a hypothetical where not only would Johnny be playing maybe for a spot in the quarter or something, but he will have that added pressure of playing for, this is for a spot in the Premier League if Steven's already been eliminated way down the road. But that is an interesting dynamic that is maybe sitting in the back of his head. If he, when he's in this close match, I mean, he's probably thinking, I have to win this match or I'm not playing in the Premier League next year. So that is an added pressure that is maybe unique to only him, because the other way they pick it is through wildcards. No one really knows unless you're in that concrete 4th, 5th kind of like leapfrog scenario that he's in.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, for a lot of people, you're coming into it going, if they're not anywhere near that, they've got to go and win the tournament, make a final to have a chance. But Johnny's got an opportunity that if it is the same qualification method that we've had for the last few years, that all he has to do is just leapfrog Stephen Bunting. And obviously he's not just coming to this tournament looking at doing that. It's the World Championships, and I don't think he would be there if he didn't believe he could go on and win it. And I think he's a player that he's still got the game absolutely to go and win it if he's right at it, and if he just catches the right people at the right times, to paraphrase Carwin there.
Just getting a bit excited though. There is a potential of a Bunting Clayton quarterfinal. Winner gets 4th spot as the number 4 in the Premier League.
Yeah,
and that kind of, I was just looking, that kind of stinks for Danny Noppert, because you would imagine one of them will win that. Whoever gets there, maybe one of them gets there, and that kind of squeezes him out of any chance unless he goes on and almost wins the thing. Same for James Wade. Those are the only ones I'm looking at who probably have any sort of chance. I mean, Jan's probably going to get a wild card.
Yeah, you'd expect
Gezzy's getting the wild card. Josh Rock probably gets the wild card. That one's a little more shaky, but just fast. It's like a really fun Premier League race for those automatic, that last automatic spot.
Yeah, 100%. Right, let's hear from Johnny Clayton, and then we are on to the final game of the night, which also was an absolute belter.
Obviously it does. Yeah, obviously, it was a great way to finish a game, to take that last set with 3 10 pluses. It was ups and downs. Like I say, that's nervous, and that's a good thing because it means something to you. People say I'm not a bad loser. They don't see it on stage, but fire doors hurt when you punch them in the back room. So I am a bad loser, but I don't show it on stage. If I wasn't, the game doesn't mean anything. But like I say, I've got a smile back on my face. I'm hungry. I want this. I know what I can do, and hopefully I can produce it.
The irony of Johnny Clayton giving that interview today.
So in a game of what hurts more, do we think it's water table or fire door?
I think definitely water table, because I think the sharp bit where there's a flight underneath it is the bit that does more damage than anything else. But yeah, that is brilliant from Johnny.
Yeah,
I do like though now that, because you've sat here with me on these previously, like going back 12, 18 months when Johnny was just talking about money and not talking about actually winning things. And it seems like there's been a massive change in that over the last year, that it's all about winning now. It's not about anything else. He just wants to keep winning.
I think, though, you get to a point in your career where at some point this will end. This will not go on forever. And I'm not saying...
Unless you Paul him.
Sorry?
Unless you Paul him.
Unless you Paul it. Well, yeah, he's going to live forever. He'll be playing darts when he's 306.
The only man that will outlive the Wasp.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Clayton's at a point where he's probably thinking, right, I've only probably got an X amount of World Championships left in me. Money, as good as it is, and as much as it makes the world go around, will run out. Nobody can take away World Championship finalist, World Championship winner. From once you've got that title, nobody can take it away from you. So I think it's the right thing to do, and he doesn't need to chase anymore. I think he's done the hard work. He's climbed the rankings. He's established himself in that top 10. Go on and win X amount of titles a year. So just enjoy the darts. Don't stress about anything outside the game you're involved in, and see where you land. But yeah, it's good to see. And I think after losing his father, we all know he struggled, and he couldn't really find any form, and it feels like, as he mentioned there, he's playing with a smile on his face again. And I think when he's playing with a smile on his face, as in he's as dangerous as anybody, because he just takes those 10 plus finishes for fun, as in it's from a fellow West Walian. I'm chuffed to see the old Johnny coming back and creating havoc on tour.
Yeah, there is nothing better than that smile and the point to the camera. Like, we all love the Johnny Clayton point to the camera and the little grin on his face when he's either at a 180 or whether he's took out 121, whatever it might be. But yeah, great to see. And that brings us on to the final game of the night. And this, I just really enjoyed this, Dave. Again, I feel like I've come to you with not much of a lead in again, but I sort of forgot everything that happened in this game just because I was just enjoying watching the back and forth. And partly, as Bobsy just mentioned, that you couldn't see half the board, to be honest, because Whitlock had pulled it out. But there was certainly some frailties shown from both, but it was just a cracking back and forth battle.
Yeah. It was such a convincing performance from Connor right until he got those match darts in the third, and then the finishing went completely. I mean, Cam, we were trying to guess before we got on air. It was like my guess. I don't have like a tally. It was like 1 or 2 for 15 for a certain stretch.
Yeah, I think that's about where we got.
Yeah,
there was 9 straight, and then we were trying to figure it out from there. But
yeah. The 4 straight to win the third set. I mean, I think any human would be pretty, bogged down by. And I think the other thing that played in Simon's favor is that wasn't for a first or second, so there was no break. Like, Connor had to get right back into the next set, and great. Like Wayne Martel said, like, you're 1,503 points away. You were just, I think he was like 10 points away. So,
yeah,
that's mentally frustrating. And then the next time you get, it's easy to get back into the scoring. When you're back on a double, those thoughts just come right back into your head. And I think that's clearly what happened. That's probably what he would tell you. But credit to Simon. I mean, he picked up on those little, every time Connor was missing doubles and not closing out visits, Simon was right there. And he had some clutch darts. He looked really good.
A couple of 80s, I think he took out. There's obviously the 167 as well in there. But he just, as soon as he got that opportunity in the third, that set, and then the fourth as well, he just upped his level and put Connor right under it. And I think it's one of those games like there's not often that I'll ever sort of root against Connor Scutt, but it was, if there's one man that you never sort of sad at seeing come back into a game and give it a go, it's definitely Simon Whitlock. And it, as much as anything, just great to see him back up on that stage at the Palace. Obviously, it's a while since we've seen him on a big stage. Obviously, he doesn't have a tour card anymore, but yeah, it was just, I just enjoyed both sides of it. And it was just one of these games that you can talk about the first round and extending it to 128, whether it improves it or whether it sort of dilutes it slightly from the 96 that it was previously, Carwin. But if you get more games like this, I'm all for it.
Well, that's the thing, I think, isn't it? As in, for every 2 or 3 bad games, you get a Connor Scutt v Simon Whitlock matchup, and it's worth it, really. It's worth the pain and suffering of some of the other games just to get an absolute classic like this. And I think what Simon Whitlock did, and I don't want to sort of go cross-sport and discuss any of the sporting events involving Australia at the moment, but he epitomised an Australian sporting performance. They do not know when they're beaten.
What have you done that for? We're not talking about the Ashes.
As a rugby fan, we have suffered at the hands of Australia 10,
You've
12.
suffered at the hands of everyone for the last 2.5 years.
Exactly, but especially Australia. They've got a way of beating Wales when Wales are playing well. So Simon Whitlock epitomised that tonight. Yes, he didn't get over the line, but I don't think many people gave him that much hope of making a game out of it, just because Connor Scutt has got this ability of being businesslike and winning matches, and I think just to make a game out of it was very impressive.
Yeah, I think a lot of players that we would have seen up on that stage this week would have kind of thrown the towel in at 2-0 down and 2-2 in that third set, especially when Connor left himself a finish first as well. I think it is literally, there's a lot of people that would have not been able to find that level and not pick it up and do what he did. But he's someone that just has that experience that we talk about again, to be able to go in there and just make magic happen. Like, I'm still not sure that 25, double 19, double 19 is the right way to go on 101. Even as a 19s player myself, I'm still not sure that is the way that I would go. And I'm 100% certain that if he'd hit the bullseye first start, he would have gone one bull rather than anything else as well. It wouldn't have been 11 tops, though, or it wouldn't have been 19 double 16. It would have been one bull, I think, if he'd left it even relatively handleable. But that's why we love watching him, isn't it?
Yeah. Because Connor also kind of goes into his own world of board management. So like watching this, I was like, this is exactly why it's great to not be a Sky Sports.
You could hear like Wayne Mardle's head was exploding.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. The camera crew, I'm sure, was like having an absolute like meltdown in the
spotting that. I mean,
in the truck. Yeah, that was my head was spinning. But I mean, these guys are, Simon's been playing for so long. I'm sure he has tried every single shot out that he can think of. And, the 63, I think it was a 63 for the bull double. That was, I was like, in my head, I'm like, does that math even work? Like, I've never even heard someone like propose that.
The best thing with that was, though, that he then hit the treble 17 rather than the single to leave double 3 as well. Like, after it. It's just fabulous. Like, just great fun. We haven't got a clip from Connor because even the hardest working man in darts, the famous Mr. Phil Bars, hasn't had a chance to get it clipped up and put in for us yet. So it is predictions time and ready for, well, today as it is for us now. It is still tomorrow for you, Dave, so we can call it tomorrow while you're on. And day 6 at the 2026 Paddy Power World Darts Championship. Get involved in the chat room as ever. If you can't, it's because you've not clicked subscribe. So make sure you click subscribe. Give us a like while you're at it, or a thumbs up, or whatever you call it on YouTube or Facebook. And yeah, we'll get straight into it. So, as it's your first time doing predictions, Dave, I'm going to come to you first. And we start off with first game of the day, which is Alan Suter up against Teemu Harju. Which way are you going on this one?
I think I'm going to make a big shock here when I say I think that Alan Suter will get it done. It's hard to back. Teemu, like, lack of experience, obviously going to play a part. Alan hasn't made a ton of noise this year, but I think he has a stable, I really hope I'm not going to jinx myself here. I think he has a stable enough floor of his game. His base of his game is stable enough where he can not have an absolute nightmare here. And I'll say I'll give him 3-1. 3-1. I'll give Teemu a little bit of credit.
Yourself, Colin, which way are you going?
Oh, I think you're being very, very generous there, Dave. I think I think Suits gets the job done 3-0. Just he's been on that big stage enough times now just to do the right thing at the right time, and here we go. It's only game one, and we're there already. I think he'll make it quite comfortable. 3-0 Suits.
Yeah, he's got a reasonable record on the Ali Pali stage as well. A couple of last 16s, so I don't think he's someone that's gonna flap in the face of an unheralded opponent. And yeah, I'm with you, Carwin. I'm not giving Timu even one. I'm going to give it a 3-0 as well. I think in the chat room, I'll be surprised if we have anything other than a Suits win, but we might just have one there. Right, Robbie has got it 3-0 for Suits. Bobsy's 3-1. Dan's got it 3-0. Jamie's got it 3-2. Lano, new one in there, 3-0. Paddy's got it 3-0, as has Daz. Gordon's got it 3-1. Suits 3-0 for Daly, and then Murdy has gone 3-1 Harju, which back in the countryman, we all know that we do on this show, so that's fine. And 3-0 Suits from someone in the background, which I don't know who's done that. Right, next up, Carwin, we come to you first, as ever, because it is Welsh correspondent time. Nick Kenny is second game of the day up against Justin Hood. Which way are you going?
Well, obviously, Nick Kenny does his countryman a favour. Not saying that Rob Owen's in direct danger with Hood, but 2 or 3 wins and
anyone below him in the list, basically, you just have to keep ticking them off.
Exactly. So if they're not in the tournament, they can't do any damage. Nick, and I don't know. I think Nick Kenny quite likes this stage. Obviously, last year saved his tour card with a decent run, and I fancy him again tomorrow. I think he wins 3-1.
Dave, which way are you going?
I have to go the other way. I'm gonna go Justin Hood.
Now.
I'm gonna go Justin Hood. I knew that would come with a little bit of flack. I'm gonna give it to him 3-2. I think this goes 5. It's so hard to call. I think it goes 5. I'll go out on a limb and say it will be the first, I believe, we got one tiebreaker with bunting. It'll be the first to go to a sudden death leg. I'm gonna go on that. I'm gonna go out on that
all the way. I love
it's got to happen eventually.
Debut, love it.
Has to happen eventually. But yeah, it's just so close to call. I like what I saw from Justin Hood at the Players Championship Finals. I know Hedda didn't play great, but he was able to beat Damo in that first round, and then I believe he had match darts against Andrew Gilding and almost beat him. So I think he's trending up. Yeah, I'll go with Justin. I know he's a narrow favorite. So
there we go then. Well, I think it's tight as well. But I think I'm just going to lean the other way, and I'm going to take Nick Kenny to win it in a tight one. I don't really know why. I just think experience on the stage from last year is probably as much as anything of getting that big win when he needed it will be what just about gets him over the line in this one. So yeah, 3-2 Kenny for me. In the chat room, what have we got? We have got Paul has gone for Hood to win it 3-1. Gordon's got it Kenny 3-2. Delano's got it 3-1 for Hood. Kenny 3-1 for Robbie. 3-1 Hood for Bobsy. 3-2 Hood for Paddy. 3-2 Kenny for Daz. This is as split as we've seen one. Oh, this basically stinks of it going 3-0 to someone and not even being close. Kenny 3-2 for Dan. Hood 3-1 for Daly. Murdy's got it 3-2 for Hood and 3-0 Hood for Jamie. So, third game of the day, and we come to Scott Williams up against Paulo Nebreda. Your turn to go first on this one, Dave. Which way are you going?
I'm going upset. I'm going Paulo Nebreda. I think that what he showed, I believe he hit. I'm going back to the World Cup because that's probably the last time I saw him play outside of highlights, at least live. I believe he hit all 3 doubles in their comeback over Belgium in the group stage. He showed some crazy bottles, some like really stern ability, and I believe he won a match here last year.
2 games last year.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, he beat Jim Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I think he has that. Like, he doesn't really get phased. Like, his game travels, whether it's big stage or on a floor event. I'm gonna back him. I also think that he's a pretty solid value given the betting odds. I think it should be a little bit closer. I know Scott's been, going through some unfortunate things recently, and it hasn't seemed to hamper his play too much. But I'll go with Paulo in an upset. I'll call it 3-1.
3-1 Paulo. Carwin, which way are you going?
Well, that's very annoying because I thought I'd be the one to go out on a limb here and call for the upset. I actually think it goes 5 sets. But I do think Williams gets dragged into a game he doesn't need to get dragged into, and he sort of he plays mind games with himself and blows it, I think. And yeah, I think Nebreda wins 3-2.
I'm just gonna have to go the other way, just for as much as anything, just for a bit of a change. But I'd say it's more in hope than expectation that we see a fluent, confident Scott Williams that we all know he can be and know that he can do on this stage. Because if there are those frailties and those issues with letting the dart go, it could be a very tough watch for him. And I think possibly a relatively comfortable win for Nebreda. But yeah, I'm gonna take Scott to win 3-1, and we see a much sort of improved performance from him in terms of the throw and being able to let it go properly. I'm guessing this might be another one that's quite split in the chat though. Robbie's got it 3-1 Nebreda, 3-1 Williams for Dan. Bobsy's got it 3-2 for Nebreda. Solano's got it 3-0 Williams. Jamie's got it 3-1 for Williams. Paddy's got it 3-1 Williams. 3-0 for Daz and Paul. And then Nebreda 3-2 for Gordon. We've got 3-1 Shaggy for James. Murdy's got it 3-1 Williams. Wiring the Dolan. Is that inside the wire or outside the wire? Which way are you having it? I assume he means outside, but that is everyone on that one. So we then round out the afternoon session with Chris Dorby up against Xiao Chen Zong. Carwin, I think it's you first on this one. Which way are you going?
So I think it depends who wins the bull. If Dobie wins the bull, he concedes 1 leg. If Dobie loses the bull, I think he concedes 2 legs.
You're becoming predictable with your little intros.
Yeah, but I just think Dobie's too comfortable, easy afternoon for him, and almost doesn't even have to get out of second gear, potentially in first, and he wins comfortably. 3-0 Dobie, I think.
Yeah. Yourself, Dave? Any different?
I'll go same here. I all I wonder is kind of something we mentioned earlier. How does this prepare him to play Andrew Gilding, who is always known to, he can pull anything out. I mean, he's been around forever. He's given Littler runs at previous tournaments. He put up a 98 against Cam Crabtree, who a lot of people, including me, thought would be able to pull off the upset.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing is if this is a bit of a sleepwalk for Chris, like, could that become something that leaks into his match against Andrew, and suddenly he's like, it feels like a first round match for him, if that makes any sense. And that's no disrespect to Zhao Chenjiang, but 3-0, and I think he handles it pretty easily.
Yeah. Sitting there, like Bobsy mentioning that Song's won the Chinese Premier League each year since it returned. He has, but then we've also seen him up on the stage against Mickey Mansell and Ricardo Pietreczko and not put a set on the board. So with the greatest respect to those two, Chris Dobey's a better player than those two at the moment as well. So I just don't see any difference. And I'm with you. I think it's 3-0 and he might win a couple of legs. He might even win one in each set, but that's about as good as he gets, I think. In the chat, what have we got? Paul's 3-0 Dobey. He's going with these sort of, I was going to say countrymen then, but it's a little bit more local than that. Robbie's got it 3-0. James got it 3-0. Dan's got it 3-0. Bobsy's the only one, I think, taking the upset with 3-2 for Song. Paddy's got it 3-0. Gordon's got it 3-1. Murdy's got it 3-0. Daz 3-0. Dobey to finish on top, so I'm not sure I ever back into it the first double he's going for, to be honest. But fair enough. James got 9-0 for Dobey. And that's everything, I think, predictions-wise on that one. So we go into the evening session, and we start with the recently mentioned Ricardo Pietreczko. Your turn to go first, Dave. Pietreczko up against the returning Jose de Sousa, which is just great to see, isn't
it? Yeah, it's always fun to get him on the big stage. I am going to go with Ricardo. I like the way he has played since the World Cup. It kind of showed me something. I know it's the second time I've referenced it, but the World Cup showed me something in him that he kind of just became a player who's hovered around the 30s, 40s, like he kind of hasn't made any big noise, hasn't done anything surprising, just kind of will get to a point in a tournament where he becomes an underdog and then loses. And, there's nothing wrong with that. He's a quality player, but I think in the last, back half of the year, I've seen a little something from him. I think he's playing with a little bit of confidence. Jose might be a little far removed from, being in a spot like this. And I think Ricardo gets it done. I'll give it to him 3-1.
Darwin, which way are you going?
See, this is the game for me that means tomorrow night goes on a bit longer than it probably should, because after this, I don't think it'll take long. And I also think this tie keeps one person in blue on the order of merit in the hunt for does Robbo keep his tour card. I think Jose wins in 5. I think he goes sudden death, extra time, as in, I think we are in for a bit of a surprise here. Jose wins 3-2, but at the same time, if Ricardo wins 3-0, 9-0, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm going to go Jose 3-2.
I don't hate either result here, I'll be honest, but I think I'm with Dave on it. I just think the lack of this sort of a game for a while for Jose is big. And I think, yes, he's a bit of a maverick and he kind of just does his own thing and it might not affect him whatsoever, but I think it will. And I think Ricardo wins this one relatively comfortably. I'm going to give it 3-1, but I don't think it's all that close. What have we got in the chat? Meddy's got it 3-0 for Jose. Ricardo 3-0 for Robbie. Pikachu 3-2 for Gordon and Daz. Jose 3-1 for Paddy. Dan's got it 3-1 for Ricardo, as is Bobsy. And then we have got as well 3-1 Ricardo for James and the same for Jamie as well. Then next up, we have the Old Dutch clash with Danny Noppert up against Dirk van Duijvenbode. Carwyn, I think it's your turn first. Which way are you going?
Yeah, I think if Van der Velde wasn't playing a fellow Dutchman, I'd fancy him. But I think because he'll be very aware of what Noppert can do and of how Noppert is playing and the threat that Noppert brings, I think he sort of, I don't want to say crumbles, but I think the pressure gets to him and he doesn't play as well as he can. Because I was impressed with how he performed at the Grand Slam. But yeah, I also think Noppert's got bigger picture, bigger plans. So I think Noppert wins. And I think he probably wins 3-0, but I think all 3 sets will be competitive.
Anything different from you, Dave?
I'll go 3-1, but I'm in a very similar boat. I'll back Danny Noppert. He just has the safest. I know I said this earlier about I'm trying to remember what I was talking about, but Alan Suter, but he has the safest floor. Like he's just not going to average below 90. You could bet on it right now. He's probably outside of the 2 Lukes the best bet to not average below 90 in a match. At any tournament against anyone, I just don't see how Jurgen can compete with that. He could make it interesting. I think there could be some little breaks of throw here and there, some fun legs. He's got the quality, just not enough experience. And Danny's just it's a nightmare draw, like Carwyn said. He's just not going to have an off day. It just doesn't happen.
No, I think you're right. I think he's at that level now, Noppert, that he is rightfully where he is in the world right now, in the top 6, and he's there because of how consistent he is and what he can do. And I think he's brought extra little bits into his game where he can speed up the throw when he needs to, when he feels like it's getting slightly off, which he didn't used to do, and he used to lose the weight a little bit more. And I say, yes, there were a couple of wins at the Slam for Jurgen, but he edged past Lukeman, who, let's be honest, was a bit of a free hit at the Slam. And then obviously got past a below par header, but when he played you better players, when he played Christophe and played Luke Humphries, he was sort of nowhere to be seen in those games. So I think that Noppert will just be too good, and I think he wins this one. I think he wins it 3-0. I think he does it pretty comfortably, to be honest. And I don't think there'll be much in the chat room that's any different to that, but let's have a look. Bobsy's got it 3-0 Noppert, as has Daz, as has Paul. 3-1 Noppert for Gordon, 3-0 Noppert for Jamie. Paddy's got it 3-1, 3-2 for the Oldham Groundhopper. Noppert 3-0 for Dan, 3-1 for James, and Stephen's got it 3-0 for Noppert as well, and then 3-2 for Murdy. So, yeah, all in the Noppert camp there. There's no one taking the upset. Usually get someone just trying to throw an upset in there just to look cleverer than the rest of us. But no one's braved it on this one. I can't see there being many calling an upset in this next one either. We've managed to... They've thrown the players in at the wrong time here, because this is Dave's goal first, and it is the Welshman, Gerwyn Price, up against Adam Gavlas. Dave, which way are you going?
Yeah, Carwyn said the first match might be the one that makes this session go late. This one might take us, at least just on Adam's turns alone, might take us into the next morning. But yeah, I'm interested to see how Gerwyn Price, who's a rhythm player, very fiery, like how much that will just throw him off his A game. I'm not saying he's going to lose. He's not. I'll back him 3-0 here. But that will just be the one thing I'll be keeping an eye on is how. A fiery player like him might get quickly frustrated at the slow pace of play here. So yeah, I'll take him 3-0. But I'd be with how many different styles of play you have to play to get to a final. I know he's obviously won Worlds before. I'll be interested to see how he reacts to that shift. And I feel like I can't remember the last time I saw him play someone this slow. So if he can go out there and bang in a 95 to 100 average against that would be something I feel like I haven't seen from him in a while. But yeah, 3-0. I don't see any faffing here.
Owen, are you going to shock us all?
No, I don't think I am, to be honest with you. I think what I do expect is for Price maybe to start a bit slow and take a couple of legs to adjust to the pace of the game, but I think he wins 3-0, and I think he's probably only pushed in the first set, and after that it's pretty much plain sailing for Price as he wins 3-0.
Yeah, I'm with you both. I think it's 3-0 as well. One, I think Gerwyn Price is just playing well at the moment. I think he's in a position where he looks confident with his game, and two, I don't think pace really bothers him that much. I think he's one of those players that he doesn't mind an extra couple of seconds before he gets to throw. I think sometimes it almost helps him a little bit as well. So yeah, cannot see anything other than a 3-0 Price win here from Adam Gavlas, who we've not seen anything from for quite some time now. Bobsy's with us, as is Dan. Polano's got Gavlas winning a set. Paddy's with us as well at 3-0. Gezi 3-1 for Daz. Jamie's got it 3-2 just because of the pace. Murdy's gone 3-0. Gezi 105 average. And James has gone for 3-0. And 3-1 Gezi for Stephen. And we are on to the last game. And we finish off with Nico Springer up against Joe Comito in the final game. Carwin, your turn first. Who are you going for?
I think Springer wins. I think Springer wins quite comfortably, quite easy. 3-0, but I don't think it's a particularly amazing game, but he just gets the job done.
Yeah. Anything different from you on that one, Dave?
No. I like the way Nico's been playing lately. He was so good on the Euro Tour this year. It's kind of boring, but I'll say 3-0 as well, and then I'll sprinkle in that, barring anything crazy from Josh Rock in the first round, we're going to get Rock Springer second round if these results hold. That could be the tie of the second round. That'll certainly be one of the featured ones. So yeah, we'll see both of them kind of getting what could be a non-competitive first round match. I'm interested to see how that maybe impacts both of them in the second round. But yeah, I'll go 3-0 here.
Yeah, I'm with you there as well. I think I can't see anything but 3-0. I know Comito took a set last year off Thibaut Stracol, but I think Nico Springer's another level above Thibaut.
Yeah. And
I just can't see anything but that. Obviously, we saw him getting through both Gary Anderson and Michael Van Gerwen at the Slam. He's got the game for the big stage as well, and I think I can only see him winning this comfortably. Anyone going to go different here? We've got 3-0 Springer for Milano nailed on. Oh, we have Comito 3-2 for Daly, who's going. There is the one rogue one to try and look cleverer than the rest of us. Gordon 3-0 for Springer, as is Paddy. Daz has gone the same way as well. Paul's gone the same way. James also 3-0 as well. 3-1 to go for Jamie, and finally Murdy's got it 3-1 for Springer, and that is it all rounded out for the day 5's action. Daz is asking who's on this shift tomorrow. I think we may well have Mr. Simpson back. I think he's finished with his I think he's been punching tables as well, to be honest, since the result on Sunday in the Tyne-Away derby. So he's quite possibly back. He was doing the report tonight, which is why we didn't see him this evening. It might be me, might be Carwin, might be Dave, could be other Dan. Who knows? I'll be honest with you, it's not that well planned. So could be anyone. But
someone. There'll be someone.
There will definitely be at least 2, if not 3, on here, but not 4 because we haven't got a layout yet for 4 that fits right and we can get everything in. Give you the last word, Dave. You first time on here, enjoyed it?
Yeah, this was a ton of fun. Yeah, I'm being here. I don't have a ton of friends who are into the darts, so it's a lot of fun to kind of like, instead of letting these ideas just sit up here, I actually share them with people. So I don't sound like a crazy man. But yeah, no, really, probably the best day we've had so far. It's crazy to think we're like just halfway through the first round. So yeah, no, happy to be here. Thank you guys for allowing me in with a warm embrace.
Can we make a pun before we leave?
Go on.
You could say that today's been punching.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And on that note,
it's Tempest 1 on a Tuesday morning.
We are done with day 5 of the World Darts Championship for 2026. Thank you all for joining us. But we now know for tomorrow, Calvin will not be on because he's not on after that. Thank you all and good night.
Introducing the Paddy Power World Darts Championship.